Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cartoon Season. I am Tyler, and today I'm talking about Kung Fu Panda, the first movie, of course. If everything goes as planned, this or this podcast episode, whatever, is going up on the day that the new Kung Fu Panda Netflix series drops. Yes, they're making a new Kung Fu Panda series, and I'm excited for it because Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2 were good. I never saw a third one, haven't seen that yet. And then the Kung Fu Panda series on Nickelodeon was also really fun. So I'm interested to see what this one is. This one is taking a little different route, I believe. But we'll see. And yeah, so a couple things I want to touch on today. I want to touch on how tragic Tai Lung's story is, and how from another perspective he is, you do kind of feel for him. And then as well, Po becoming the Dragon Warrior, which is a fun arc. But yeah, let us get into it. So let's start with the tragic Tai Lung. He put in so much work, as a kid. He really did. I mean, he was given, I think he was also like an orphan or something, and he put in so much work. Like, he tried so hard. He trained every day. He was making so much progress. He looked up to Shifu, and Shifu reciprocated. He was building Tai Lung to be the Dragon Warrior, like, outwardly. Like, it wasn't like he was like, oh, I'm gonna get him and then we're gonna, like, no, like, he told Tai Lung this. Like, it was very well known that this was the path that everyone was following. So great, right? Like, everything's awesome, everything's great. I mean, they love each other, they're building up to greatness. What else is there to do? Unfortunately, Oogway saw darkness in his heart, saw evil in his heart, and he wouldn't grant him the status of Dragon Warrior. And that's a shame. It's a shame, because he put in so much work, and for you to dedicate your entire life to being the Dragon Warrior, and then for the guy who has to grant it to you to say, no, you're never being the Dragon Warrior. You're a bad person. Something snapped, and that's, again, understandable. I mean, I think all of us would feel that way as well, just with anything. Like, imagine training your whole life for this one thing, nothing else. Your whole life is dedicated to this one goal, and then the person who has to grant you that happiness tells you this is never going to happen, actually. Just like, well, it wasted my entire life. Also, I was told I was going to be the Dragon Warrior at the end of this. Like, Shifu told me. So now there's resentment in his heart, there's hatred in his heart, there's fury. You could say, what came first, chicken or the egg? Was his evil first, or was him being told his evil first? It is what it is, I guess. Tai Lung went on a rampage, and Oogway had to mobilize him. He was destroying everything. He was like, no, I'm gonna kill everyone, and I'm gonna be the Dragon Warrior. And Shifu couldn't do anything. Shifu saw him as a son. And so Oogway had to be the one to step in and do the pong 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 and paralyze him and put him in jail. That's tough, I mean, for all that to happen and be told no, and then to go on a rampage, and then to have to fight your master, your father, and then to be thrown in jail because of it. It's like, this is all you. This ain't me. This is you. Tai Lung was sent to a maximum security prison because of this, as he should be. Because in all honesty, this man is a beast. This man, I mean, as we see in the following movie, whenever we see Tai Lung after the prison, or after being locked up, after being freed, he freed himself, he's just murking fools. Like, 2 scenes. One with the rhinos in the prison, just destroying them all. And I don't know for a fact that any of those guys are, like, good fighters. But there's hundreds of them, hundreds upon hundreds, and they have weapons. They have their own crossbows. They also have, like, gigantic crossbows that could take down, like, airships. And Tai Lung is just making them look sweet, And then even after that, he has to fight the Furious Five, who are supposed to be the 5 greatest fighters in the world, supposedly. And he just destroys them too, with almost no effort, just like playing with them, just toying with them, And then he freezes all of them except for Crane, and he's like, Go tell Shifu I'm coming. I will be there at sundown. So yeah, I mean, he's just doing what he feel like he has to do, you know? I'm not saying he's Thanos, but it's somewhat comparable, you know? He eventually does confront Shifu, and Shifu refuses to make him the Dragon Warrior. He will not. I mean, probably for two reasons, right? Like, I would imagine, one, he wants to respect Uguay's wishes because, I mean, he looks up to Uguay like it's nobody's business. And just because he's dead, like, that seems weird. And also, he's like, no, I mean, you've kind of proven, you've kind of proven Uguay right, where you've just burning your trail on your way over here, and you're like, hey man, Uguay's dead, make me the Dragon Warrior. Like, no, I don't think that's how that works. I just don't think, I don't think this is like, oh, we're gonna go to brunch now. No. They fight. And it pretty much goes the same way that it did before, where I think Shifu is more capable than Tai Lung. You know, I think no holds barred, I think Shifu would still beat Tai Lung. Not trying to take anything away from Tai Lung, but Shifu is just more experienced, and he is the teacher, you know? And also, Tai Lung hasn't exactly had time to perfect his craft outside of Shifu. Like, he trained under Shifu, and then was immediately locked up for his whole life. So he hasn't exactly had time to develop new martial arts, you know what I mean? So, but he is pretty much going to defeat Shifu, you know, for the most part. Po makes his entrance, a very Po-like entrance, and they fight. You know, it's a very comedic fight. You know, Tai Lung is doing real stuff, and Po is just kind of rebounding everything. You know, it's kind of heavy-handed, but you know, we do see a lot of the training pay off, where it's like, oh, doing the leg thing to jump up on to jump and get the monkey's cookies, and you know, all that stuff. But it's fun. You know, it is a culmination of everything that Po has went through and learned throughout the film, so it makes sense plot wise. And Tai Lung is bested by Po. You know, he's eventually you know, he mostly defeats Po, but Po he's just a Dragon Warrior, you know? It's the most plot armor we've ever seen in a Pixar film. Not a Pixar film, a DreamWorks film. It's just how it is. And then Tai Lung dies? And I put a question mark there because in the movie, I never really understood what happened to Tai Lung. I just thought he got defeated and then they just carted him off to a hospital, back to prison or something. I don't know. I just never really... That's just kind of the extent of my knowledge, like, especially being a kid watching it, you know, like, I don't know, he defeated him. But as I was doing research, I mean, not really doing research, just watching the movie again and kind of going on the Wikipedia to fill in my brain of stuff that I missed. Apparently, Po removed him from existence. Didn't kill him. Didn't immobilize him. Removed him from existence. Like, just poof. Tai Lung now just doesn't exist in this plane anymore. Which is crazy. Probably the most savage thing. I mean, for one, definitely the most savage thing Po has ever done. I don't remember the second and third movies very well. I mean, I didn't watch the third movie. I just never got around to it. But I don't know that Po was ever going to do anything that ridiculous in the other two movies. We'll see, though. We'll see. We'll rewatch the second movie at some point, and we'll watch movie 3 at some point as well. But it's like, geez, man, Po, you're the Dragon Warrior. I will not fight you on this. But yeah, that all in all is kind of Tai Lung's arc, and I do think for the most part it is very sad because he doesn't grow up wanting to be the Dragon Warrior to do evil. Like, I guess we didn't really follow him very much in the movie. Like, the movie's not about him, but like, it really seemed like he was just trying to work towards something, and then he was told no, and he snapped. You know, like, I don't know. It just sucks. You know, like, I'm not saying they should have given him the Dragon Warrior status, but I also don't think that, like, Shifu does kind of say this, and I do kind of agree with him where Shifu kind of failed him. You know, like, I don't think that Shifu should have went so hard on making him the Dragon Warrior. I think he should have just trained him, because that's what he does. He trains people, right? Just like he trains everyone else. But not putting in his head that you're going to be the Dragon Warrior. You're going to be the Dragon Warrior. because that obviously got to Tai Lung, and I think it caused him to be a villain, you know. But that's that. Because I also want to talk about Po becoming the Dragon Warrior. So he's a huge kung fu fanboy at the very beginning of the film. That's just who he is, right? He's a fanboy. I don't know that he ever really wants to train in kung fu, but he's just infatuated with it. And then the big moment is when he lands in front of Oogway, accidentally becoming the Dragon Warrior, right? Because there's no such thing as there are no accidents, right? Everything happens for a reason. That's like Oogway's whole thing. And so we go from there. After the initial shock, we start training, and he does not excel. He does not excel in pretty much anything kung fu related. He has a lot of knowledge of kung fu because, again, he researched it, and that's just his passion. But in terms of actual kung fu ability, he has none. He has no athletic ability, and it's tough because Shifu tries to make him quit. The Furious Five aren't super easy on him, especially in the beginning. So it's very disheartening to be Po in this moment. And Po kind of combats it though. Po is determined to give 100% effort 100% of the time. That's kind of what he realized, especially after talking with Oogway. It's like, you can't tell the future. You can't know what's going to happen until it does. So we're living in the now, and right now, what do you want to do? Do you want to be the Dragon Warrior? Well, then let's do it. Let's fight for it. And so, matching him, finally, Shifu discovers that when motivated by food, Po can do amazing things. And that's kind of the missing key to the lock of Po becoming the Dragon Warrior, is that he's different. You can't train him the same way that you train any of the five. You just can't. It's not going to work out the way you want it to. So they train, and Shifu actually turns him into a worthy adversary. Not that he's perfect. Not that he's the best in the world, or that, he's even better than the Furious Five or even Tai Lung, but that he knows enough to get by and to actually go against Tai Lung and not die, not be erased from existence. And again, with some crazy plot armor, he is able to confront Tai Lung and get the better of him. Again, I think it's crazy that in days, weeks, max, he has, Po has trained long enough for him to beat Tai Lung, who literally trained his entire life, could beat Shifu, not 100% of the time, but could probably beat Shifu at least half of the time. So I don't know, that's kind of the one thing where it's like, okay, this is definitely this is the kids part of the movie where Po has to win, and you know what I mean? Because in all honesty, I think if they fought 100 times, I think Tai Lung would win at least 90 of those times. But Po has to win because it's the message of the movie, and it just makes sense. But yeah, I mean, he did become the Dragon Warrior. I guess, and then at the end of the day, he did know what it meant to be the Dragon Warrior more than Tai Lung ever did, especially with the scroll being quote unquote blank. It's also funny because it's, I wonder if Oogway knew that. I wonder if Oogway knew that the scroll was blank. But yeah, that's Kung Fu Panda. Again, Tai Lung's tragic story and the Dragon Warrior Po. A very inspiring story. They're pretty much opposites. They're two people wanting to be the Dragon Warrior, and they go about it two very different ways. And one is clearly the way that was supposed to be done. Not really, although, because Po kind of stumbled into it. So I don't think either of them actually walked the path that was expected of the Dragon Warrior, but one was definitely more Dragon Warrior-esque than the other one. Like Tai Lung was just like a fighting machine, whereas Po mentally, I think, knew what it meant to be and embody the Dragon Warrior as a person, as a beacon of light, But yeah, that's Kung Fu Panda. Let me know what you thought of the movie, whether you watched for the first time or this is your 10th time watching it. Yeah, please go listen to more episodes of this podcast. Links for everywhere you can find the podcast are in the description as always. And go check out some other content. I also do some reactions to some animated related things. And I also do some gameplays every now and again. Those are fun. And yeah, let me know what other stuff you want to see here on Cartoon Season, whether it's movies, cartoons, or anime. And yeah, until next time, make sure to watch more cartoons.